Oh man, I hope I get some stars from this. 3 stars? Well, time to quit and make YouTube videos. So I want to start off by saying this video will be a little different than those I've done previously. Today, I'm going to talk about formative experiences, and more specifically, the experience that made me want to do animation. And that experience was Flipnote Hatena. Back in the days prior to 8-year-olds with iPads, we kids had to work for things. I'm just kidding, don't take this seriously. When I was 9, I spent my summer garage sailing and selling pinecone bird feeders to family friends in order to buy myself a DSi. I saved all the money I needed, and finally bought it in a limited edition metallic blue color on Black Friday. To this day, I think it may have been the most important purchase I ever made, because it led me to my passion for storytelling and animation. I soon found that the most fun to be had on the DSi wasn't any of the games that I bought, but a little application with an orange frog icon. I'm talking, of course, about Flipnote Studio. For those unfamiliar, Flipnote Studio was a tool for making short animations called Flipnotes using the DSi stylus and your imagination. You could add sounds, use onion skin, change the frame rate, and draw in black, blue, and red. It was basically Animate CC for kids. My cousin Paul and I soon discovered that in addition to Flipnote Studio, there was an accompanying online platform called Hatena, which was basically the weird older uncle of the YouTube animation community. Users could upload Flipnotes to their page and hope to earn stars and comments. The users with the most stars and comments were like Flipnote celebrities, idolized by kids and edgy preteens across the globe. Some animations were comedic, some were epic, and some were... It wasn't always sunshine and rainbows, but Hatena had this charm and positivity in that it was a community of people looking to grow as artists and support each other. But unfortunately, it didn't last long. The platform shut down in 2013 following the end of a contract between Nintendo and Japanese internet tech company Hatena. A reboot was attempted on the 3DS in 2015, but suffered from poor marketing and ended up being a Japan-only service.
I'm so sad.
However, Flipnotes live on as a niche art form and in the memories of the people that used it. It's a neat piece of internet history, and a great model for how we as animators should strive to create a positive online community. The top Flipnote creators were like the YouTube animators of yesteryear, and at the very top of the charts were people like Anthony and BosS. I might fangirl a little bit because these guys were huge inspirations to me personally pursuing animation. BosS made incredible action sequences between stick figure characters bearing various weapons, while Anthony made comedic episode-driven stories like Stupid Mario Bros., a parody of a live-action series here on YouTube. And believe it or not, I actually got a hold of both of them to talk about the platform and the future of online animation. Come on out, you guys! Thank you guys so much for being here tonight and sharing your stories. Let's just jump into it. So looking back to when you first started, what attracted you to Hatena as a platform?
To tell the truth, I originally joined because I couldn't make cartoons anywhere else. You know, at the time, a drawing tablet and a copy of Flash was out of the question. But the DSi just so happened to have its own little animation app and a platform to host your creations on.
Growing up, I've always loved designing my own characters, and the thought of bringing these creations to life truly intrigued me. One thing I thought of doing at the time was writing stories, but I wasn't so great with my English, so I gave up. But then Hatena was introduced, and things really did kick off. Just a couple days after the release, I spent my birthday alone animating my first Flipnote.
Do you think a platform like Hatena could exist in 2018?
I don't think it's possible in 2018. It could have made a comeback a few years ago when Flipnote Studio 3D was announced.
In my opinion, Hun's Dojo is one of the popular platforms today that operates in a similar fashion.
Given the often negative state of today's internet, how did Hatena remain such a positive community?
Because Hatena was a smaller community, it brought people with a common interest together. It mainly targeted people who like drawing and have a lot of imagination and creativity, so it allowed creators to share their work, exchange feedback, and ultimately to help each other grow. It was all love.
The Flipnote community also had its problems, myself included, because there were times when I wasn't the nicest person. But overall, I think it stayed positive because a lot of us just did it for fun. People could see that and get inspired to make their own content.
Do you think the online animation community has improved or declined following the turn away from sites like Hatena and Newgrounds?
I think it's improved thanks to tutorials and education becoming more accessible online. I see so many people now who are passionate about animation, and they're learning it at such a fast pace. But places like Hatena and Newgrounds were great starting points, and the community you got out of it was unlike anything else.
The closure of Hatena devastated the community. However, that didn't discourage many users from trying to stay connected in any way they can. I don't know too much, but there is this really talented fellow by the name of Austin Burke, who was actually able to kind of recreate Hatena with his skills in engineering. He named his service Sudomemo, and I think it had great success.
Knowing what you know now, if you could have added a feature to Flipnote Studio, what would it be?
I would have added more drawing layers. It's much easier to approach animation when you can split it up.
It was a major letdown for North American users who never got the chance to experience the Flipnote World Gallery service. That's all I wanted to add, the ability to do what Hatena did.
What could today's YouTube animation community learn from Hatena?
I'm not all that up to date with the YouTube animation community, so I wouldn't know for sure. In Hatena, I can tell a whole lot of heart went into creating Flipnotes from so many people around the world, so I just hope the YouTube animation community hasn't forgotten to just have fun with it, you know?
Make the kind of content that's fun for you. Don't be pressured to do something just because your audience expects it.
Seeing as Flipnote Hatena was something of a precursor to animation on YouTube, did you have any mentors or precursors that helped you learn animation?
A lot of the creators on Newgrounds made me want to learn how to animate. People like EgoRaptor, ODNG, and Harry Partridge were a big influence early on. There was a point, though, where I started taking it more seriously, and while I didn't have any personal mentors, I learned a lot from books, tutorials, and just practice.
I was a self-taught animator and kind of a perfectionist. If the animation didn't look or feel right, I would always go back and change whatever it was I wanted, and a lot of the time, I developed new skills in the process. My very, very first time animating was on Microsoft Paint when I was in 8th grade. I'm sure we are all familiar with that.
Did you have any interaction with other popular Flipnote creators while you were on the platform?
Oh yeah, I've spoken with many popular Flipnote creators such as Fred, Jessica, and Gizmo. Sadly, I've lost contact with them after the termination of Hatena, but I'm lucky to be part of an active stick fight community online, keeping in touch with many popular stick fight creators from Hatena.
Occasionally, I'd cross paths with other big creators like Gizmo, Epic Guitar, etc. I met some awesome people through Flipnote, and somebody who went by the name Super D, which was spelled S-U-P-R, and then D-E-E. We're still good friends today, and he now runs a comic strip called Pen and Ink. That's what made it so special. It really succeeded in being this community that brought some creative people together, and friendships came out of it. It was like Newgrounds, just on a smaller scale.
Of all your Flipnotes, which is your personal favorite?
I made a Flipnote called Mind Control, featuring 2 original characters named Mike and Ike. Very clever, I know. It wasn't the funniest thing in the world, but I was proud to have made something that wasn't just another parody. And it was very popular at the time. The reception boosted confidence in my original work.
My personal favorite Flipnote is actually the one I'm working on right now, called Overpower. It's my longest running animation project to date and will be my very last Flipnote studio animation before I transition to a bigger, better platform. I will not stop animating. As far as my favorite Flipnote back in the Hatena days, I had a lot of fun with Hatena vs. Door.
Wrapping things up, what was your favorite Flipnote on the whole platform?
My favorite was Ice vs. Fire by BosS.
I didn't have a favorite, but I did adore the short, simple Flipnotes that made me laugh and smile. There's a whole bunch, and it's hard for me to remember, but one example is the Soap Boy arcade game animation by Fred. Super old Flipnote, super cute, and super funny.
Well, there you have it, everybody. Anthony and BosS's hot takes about the past and future of online animation. As BosS mentioned, there's a man by the name of Austin Burke that I'd like to recognize. I did some research, and this guy bought the server that contains every single Flipnote and is in the process of reverse engineering the format to make every Flipnote ever uploaded available on his website Sudomemo, which I've linked below. He's amazing, and the server tech he needs to finish the job doesn't come cheap, so there will be a link in the description to support his efforts as well. Actually, let's make this interesting. If anyone tags me on Twitter with a screenshot of them donating to Austin, I'll do a part 2 with all my cringy Flipnotes from when I was 11 as soon as they're available online. Hey everyone! Thanks for watching this really special animation. I hope you enjoyed me trying something a little different. BosS and Anthony have both migrated to YouTube, and I've linked their channels here in the end card so you can go support them. Go check them out. It's amazing to see how much they've improved since the Flipnote days. See you in the next animation.